As we have noted, there are some who believe that intuition is simply a very fast reasoning process that moves directly to a determination. This is clearly not intuition, as the mother explains below. It is a separate mental process that still follows the laws of the mental plane in its operations. In order to distinguish true intuition from this mental function, the mother provides insight into how intuition actually operates and what the status of the individual and his receptivity needs to be to properly receive, assimilate, and utilize the power of intuition. The mother notes, quote, "There is also another form, but that one is much more difficult to observe because for those who are accustomed to think, to act by reason, not by impulse, but by reason, to reflect before doing anything, there is an extremely swift process from cause to effect in the half-conscious thought, which prevents you from seeing the whole line of reasoning, and so you don't think that it is a chain of reasoning, and that is quite deceptive. You have the impression of an intuition, but it is not an intuition. It is an extremely rapid subconscious reasoning, which takes up a problem and goes straight to the conclusions. This must not be mistaken for intuition. In the ordinary functioning of the brain, intuition is something which suddenly falls like a drop of light. If one has the faculty, the beginning of a faculty of mental vision, it gives the impression of something coming from outside or above, like a little impact of a drop of light in the brain, absolutely independent of all reasoning. This is perceived more easily when one is able to silence one's mind, hold it still and attentive, arresting its usual functioning, as if the mind were changed into a kind of mirror turned towards a higher faculty in a sustained and silent attention. That too one can learn to do. One must learn to do it. It is a necessary discipline. When you have a question to solve, whatever it may be, usually you concentrate your attention here, pointing between the eyebrows, at the center just above the eyes, the center of the conscious will. But then, if you do that, you cannot be in contact with intuition. You can be in contact with the source of the will, of effort, even of a certain kind of knowledge, but in the outer, almost material field. Whereas, if you want to contact the intuition, you must keep this, mother indicates the forehead, completely immobile. Active thought must be stopped as far as possible, and the entire mental faculty must form, at the top of the head and a little further above if possible, a kind of mirror, very quiet, very still, turned upwards, in silent, very concentrated attention. If you succeed, you can, perhaps not immediately, but you can have the perception of the drops of light falling upon the mirror from a still unknown region and expressing themselves as a conscious thought which has no connection with all the rest of your thought, since you have been able to keep it silent. That is the real beginning of the intellectual intuition. It is a discipline to be followed. For a long time one may try and not succeed, but as soon as one succeeds in making a mirror still and attentive, one always obtains a result, not necessarily with a precise form of thought, but always with the sensations of a light coming from above. And then, if one can receive this light coming from above without entering immediately into a whirl of activity, receive it in calm and silence, and let it penetrate deep into the being, then after a while it expresses itself either as a luminous thought or as a very precise indication here. Mother indicates the heart in this other center. End quote. Reference, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, Our Many Selves, Practical Yogic Psychology, Chapter 6, Some Answers and Explanations, pages 189 to 191.